Hey everybody, and welcome back to Silver on Forest for the next episode in our Let's Play series. So as you can see, our oats are starting to grow nicely. So they are into the first growth stage. So they're currently 50% fertilised, so we will need to get another application of fertiliser on that. And I've just noticed as well, let's just double check that. Where are we on the map? Yeah, this map's only got 2 stages of fertiliser. I did find it a little bit strange when I was in Silver on Forest that I was having to do 3 stages of fertiliser. Because I was pretty sure it was only 2, and then Silver on Forest was 3. And then I was thinking, well, maybe that's because I'm not using precision farming on this one. And that's what the base game is. But no, it is only 2 on here. So yeah, we will need to get 1 round of fertiliser on to get the 100% fertilisation. We won't get the full 100% yield bonus because we haven't rolled it and we haven't mulched either. But that's something we can do in the future as we go along and get more equipment. And as you can see, we are minus $346. So we are going to need to start cutting some trees to make a little bit of money to get us out of the red, and also to get some money so we can get some more seed fertilizer, so we can get the second field planted up, and also get some more equipment that we may possibly need. So I'm just trying to work out where the best place to start cutting trees that's not going to be in the grass. So if we jump into here, I'll drop the rock picker off and get the log grab, which is just over there. I think we're probably going to continue working our way down the back of the sawmill where I cut a few trees last time, as we can cut them into the clearing. So what I would like to try and do first is get enough money to get a bit more seed fertilizer so we can get that second field planted, and then once that's out the way, if we've got enough money then to get the batwing mower, we can start clearing some of this grass and bushes, start making some more clearings for us to continue cutting trees into. So I cut a few trees across this area last time, which you didn't see in the Let's Play video, but you may have done in the time lapse. So if we continue working our way from about here, because I can cut these ones down into this clearing, and then we'll just work our way back down towards the sawmill and to the end of the map. So again, we'll just do these at 5 meters, so 90 degrees on the minimap, so they're all nice and parallel. Although I do find sometimes the trees on this map, some of them aren't quite straight, they're like planted at a slight angle, and they don't quite fall the way you expect them to. So yeah, we'll just continue getting a few more trees cut down, ready to load up, 5 meter lengths, and then we can start making a bit more money. I also forgot the last couple of episodes to make any payments to the loan as well, so we are quite behind on that. So I should have made at least 10,000 more than we have currently, and it should be another 5,000 for this episode. So we'll also look to try and pay a little bit more than that off, just to so we are progressively paying off the loan as well. Yeah, I'll continue getting some more trees cut down, get them cut up into 5 meter logs, and we'll start getting them loaded up and over to the sawmill. Okay, so first load of logs to sell for the day. And I'm thinking rather than just go buy some seed fertilizer and then come back, sow that field and then have to continue logging, I may as well just carry on logging there while we're at it. And try and get enough money then to get the batwing mower and then potentially some other equipment for collecting the grass, either baling it up or picking it up to utilise in some way. Difficult to say, because silage would need a baler and then a bale wrapper, or we'd have to find some way of picking the grass up then putting it into a bunker silo. So it's kind of trying to work out which would be the best option, or we could just go with hay, so ted it, row it up, bale it for hay bales, which we then can keep. So quite a few options with what we could do with the grass, but it's just whether we can get enough money to get that equipment and how much we actually need. I think it's 15,000 for the batwing mower, and then potentially we'd need a tedder, a windrower, baler. So yeah, there'd be quite a lot to buy. So yeah, I'll have a think. I'll continue getting some more trees cut down and getting them loaded up and sold, and then we'll see how much money we've got. Try and work out what we can buy and which is the best way to go with the equipment we can get. Okay, so I've been clearing more trees. We're up to 19,745 currently with this load to sell, and then I have got a few more logs left just around the corner from the sawmill. So that's another 6,832, takes up to 26,578. Oh, we've got one log left on that didn't sell. Let's get that one sold. So yeah, I estimate we need, I've been having a look through the equipment I've got installed, and I estimate we need around about 35,000 to get all the equipment we need to do some hay bales. So we're not far off that now. We've got less than 10,000. So if we get the rest of these loaded up and sold, I don't think that would be quite enough, but there's a few more trees there we could cut down. So possibly cut down another 2 trees to put on here, fill this trailer. That should take us somewhere close to the 35,000 we need. And then we can start trying to get some of the areas of grass. But what I may do before we actually do the grass is cut some of it first with the batwing mower, so we can create a clearing, and then cut down some more trees to open up the grass area a little bit, so we've got more land to actually cut. Because at the moment we've only got the edges down these strips and in between the trees and just to this one side of the house, so we don't have a huge amount of open grassland to actually cut. So it would be nice to open up some more land, just to make it a little bit more worth actually taking the time to cut and bale it all up. And also then we can start clearing some land by the house to then potentially get some farm buildings in. So we can also start looking at getting a shed in there to store the bales, store our equipment, get a workshop built, and then we can start actually building up some kind of small farmyard area. This end of the map is not particularly where I'd want to build the majority of the farm. I'll try and move it to a more central location. So what we could always start off with a small yard, just with some shed, workshop, just so we can repair, refuel and store our equipment until we've cleared some more land and we can start building up our main yard somewhere else in the future. So I've got that one left to go on, that big one there. I can get that one by hand, so we'll load this one up. Yeah, we'll probably need another couple of trees to fill the trailer, and then I probably will need to do one more load after that to get enough money to buy everything we need. Okay, so we're now up to 33,220 with another load almost ready to be sold, so that should give us plenty to get all the equipment we need. So I just need to load up these last few logs, if I can squeeze them on the trailer. Hopefully without knocking off that big one on the top. And then we can take these over to the sawmill, get these sold. That should take us way beyond what we need for the equipment. So what we'll do then, we'll head up to the store, we'll buy the batwing mower, and I'll start getting the area of grass up by the house, next to the house, cut down. Well, cut. And that'll create a nice clearing then, so we can then continue cutting down some of the trees into that clearing we will have created. So we'll be able to see where they are before the grass regrows back. The bushes shouldn't regrow, because I do have the real mow mod, so it should remove the bushes, but the grass will regrow, but not the weeds and the bushes, shrubs and stuff. So in the future, if we don't get round to utilising that land before the grass does regrow, at least it won't be as bad. So last couple of logs to go on. And I've found a slight way you can pick up some of the smaller logs of this. It's not big enough to pick up the two of the bigger grabs. But if you get your fork almost like as tilted back as far as it goes, and then kind of try and drop the one log on top of the one on the ground, and then you open your grab and then just gently push down as far as you can, and then re-grab. You can just about get two. If you try and put them both next to each other on the ground and pick them up, it tends to just push the one log further away from the grab and only pick up the one. But I found that does work reasonably well, but it only works on these like smaller end pieces, and I don't think I've quite got the height to get this log off. There we go, just about to get that one on there. So we'll get that turned off. We can then jump back into the International, get these sold, and I said we'll head up to the store and get the batwing mower. We'll buy all the equipment while we're there, so you can see everything we're going to get, and then we can start doing some grass cutting. Okay, so that's another 8,338, so it takes up to 41,558, which I say is more than plenty. We'll have enough now to get some more seed, fertiliser, all the equipment we need to do some hay. So yeah, I'll go and drop the trail off and we'll head up to the store and get our new equipment purchased. Right, let's go and spend some money at the magic agricultural dealership that can get what we want instantly. That would be a nice feature if when you ordered equipment you had to wait like a few in-game months or in-game month for it to be delivered. So actually I don't want that either. Or that menu. We go in here. I was having a look through the used equipment, and at the moment there's a New Holland 971972 header from Tie-Dye Modding, which is a corn header, which is no use to us. But there's also a TR99 combine, which is still a little bit pricey, but it is 51% off. But I really don't think that will be still there. We're not far off having that much money, so potentially we could cut down a few more trees and buy that. But then we'd have no mowing equipment and a combine we can't use for a few months. So what we're going to get first is mowers. And now there are cheaper options for mowers than the batwing mower. We could get one of these, although we don't have front 3-point on either of our tractors. You could get that cheaper, put it on the back and drive around. It would still do the job, but not particularly well. So yeah, the HX20 by Black Sheep Modding is what we'll go for. Keep it all standard, so we'll purchase that. Eventually what I probably will go up to is when we do start to do hay and grass properly, we'll get a proper like mower conditioner for unit rather than using the batwing mower, and then we can keep that for mulching and brush removal. So we're also going to need a tedder, which I may leave. I've got this one from Lazy Modding, which is 3.5 meter. So it's quite small, but it is the cheapest option I've currently got. The next one up would be the Pottinger, which is 4.4 meter, so not a massive increase. And then we cheapest above that is 11,000 for the Kubota. So yeah, it's not going to be a cheap option. And windrowers, I've got the Jono mods, the 46 Jono mods, New Holland. So we're going to get 2 of these. And we'll also get one of the double rake hitch, so we can put them both on and kind of create our own V-rake. So we're left with 24,858. We've got the mower, we need a baler. Our cheapest baler option we've got is the John Deere 100 by Arm Team. I did like the look of using this one, but obviously it's a little bit more expensive. So we'll go with this one as it is the cheapest option we've got. Right, so we'll get that. So that's our new baler. So we left with 12,858. So all we need is the tedder. So potentially we could afford this one, which is 6.1 meters. We can easily pull that. Or we could go with that one, 4.4. I am tempted to try this one out. I know it's not the biggest option, but it'd be nice to actually use it at least once. And we can easily pull that with a little John Deere tractor as well. So we'll go with that one and keep a bit of extra money towards paying, making some loan payments later on. So there's all our new equipment. So we'll get the mower back first. Start getting some grass cut. Could find my tractor then. Spinning around, look, where's my tractor gone? Okay, so back to our farm area, and we'll start with this bit of grass here. And so what I want to do is get the grass cleared here, and then we can continue cutting some of these trees down, because there's not many. There's only like a few small patches, and then we've got this fairly big open area here all the way up to here. So if we clear the bushes this side, cut these trees down going that way into the clearing we create, and it opens up this area. So there's not many trees we need to clear, which is one of the things I like about this map. It's not too densely forest like Wilhelmina is. So we'll get our mower switched on and we can start getting some grass cut. I left my pallet forks in the way. We won't come too close to the house. We'll leave some of the bushes there. But yeah, this is just going to make it so much easier to start cutting these logs up, so we can actually see what we're doing. So I can't believe that first, no, the episode before last one where I cut those trees down in this area. I couldn't believe how many I'd actually missed that were still lying in the grass when I came to collect them up. That's like, it just goes to show how difficult it is to see in this grass and with all these bushes, anything that's lying down in them. But yeah, this won't take too long, and we can go and get the rest of the equipment. I don't know if to just leave the grass just cut until we've cleared those trees, rather than ted it, windrow it, bale it, move the bales out the way. We might as well do the whole area in one go when it comes to the ted and windrowing. So if we just cut it first, then we'll get the rest of the trees cleared, and then I'll open up a decent area that we can then look to start getting some buildings in. We also need to remember we need to get another layer of fertilizer on the oat field, and also we do need to plant the sorghum before the end of this month, because this is the last month that sorghum can be sown. So we need to remember, well, I need to remember to do that. And no good you lot telling me after the video's been published you forgot to do it, it'll be too late by then. Right, so that's that area nice and cleaned up. And we'll go and drop this back off over here out the way. So that's just going to make it so much easier now to get these logs cut up and loaded up, because we can actually see where they are when they hit the ground. So I'll cut all these down. I'm going to leave that one there for a bit next to the house. So I'll probably get rid of this one. What we'll do actually, we'll get rid of that one. We'll get rid of that one. And that one. This one. And this one. And I think there's these few here. Those ones are a little bit further back, but I might be able to just nudge those forward with the skid steer to get them into the clearing. So we'll get that one as well. And this one here. I mean, it's all the case. I could just cut the ones along here, clear them out the way, come back in with a mower just to cut the grass again up to the next set of trees, and then repeat the process until we've opened up a decent sized area. So yeah, I'll get all those ones cut down and we can create a bit more space for ourselves. Okay, so we've got the last load of logs we'll be selling today. So I've cut round that area of grass we cleared. So we've opened that up a little bit more. So now we can go back and get a bit more of the grass cut. Which will give us a bit more of a clearing up to the next set of trees. So we'll get the rest of it cut now. We'll then ted it, get it rowed up and then baled. And then I think we just then need to finish off with getting this field drilled with sorghum. And I think that's where we'll leave it for this episode. So we are progressing nicely. We're starting to get some more farming equipment as we go, so we can do more farming jobs. So I think the next purchase we'll need to look at getting will be the combine, which we'll need soon. Possibly a small sprayer as well, so we can get some fertiliser on that field with the little John Deere tractor. Actually, I'll move this out of the way because we don't need the trailer anymore at the moment. So we do have that spreader there that we could potentially use for fertiliser, but I'd rather use something that's got smaller wheels on it. So I know we've got the little John Deere spray, which I think we probably could afford quite easy, that we can pull with a little John Deere tractor. So we may do some spraying in next time as well. So let's get this unfolded. Actually, we can start back here. Now we've cleared those trees. I'll get that switched on, lowered down, and away we go. Yeah, there is still one log I managed to miss in the grass and bushes. As I say, it's one reason why I wanted to clear all this area, because it does make it so difficult. And I did not see that until my tractor went bouncing up in the air as I went over the top of it. I've also got that one little weed or shrub there that the mower doesn't want to cut. So if we go straight over the middle of it. There we go. So that's opened up this area quite a bit now. We can get those trees. Oh, no, I've still missed that bit. It's still showing up, and the distance anyway. So yeah, we'll just continue doing this. I don't think we'll do this every time we come to cut trees, is cut the grass and use it, because it's just going to be a lot of grass cutting and baling. So sometimes I may just come through, put it on maybe on mulch mode and just mulch everything up so it doesn't drop any grass and create a clearing. We'll go and get this skidder out of the way so we can go over it with the tedder. And we'll just pick all that log as well that we've missed. Looking at this as well, we're going to need to start looking at some way of refueling our equipment, because this is getting quite low. Now the gas station's not far away, it is literally just down there through the trees. I don't think we can see it. Yeah, you can just see the red between the trees up there of the gas station roof. So it's not too far away if we get desperate. But we'll need to keep an eye on it so we don't run out of fuel. Yeah, and I think next time as well, it will be great to try and get our first shed so we can start getting some of this equipment stored away, because it is starting to all build up and make a right mess. So yeah, we need to go back down to the store and get the tedder, and we'll go in the John Deere. Give this a run out. While we're here, actually, I'll check the greenhouse. Yeah, we're almost out of water. We've got just under 2,000 litres of lettuce, so that's working away nicely. But we'll need to get that topped up with water as well before we finish up. Otherwise our production will stop. So yeah, I'll head up to the store. I'll get the tedder first. Obviously we'll ted it. And then we need to go up with the rake to get it raked up and then baled. We've got our nice new Vermeer tedder on the back. Before we start tedding though, we will need to drop off the drawbar, because obviously it's connected to that and the PTO is not attached. So we'll drop it off somewhere where we can find it. So just somewhere where it's nice and clear. So we'll get the tedder dropped off first. I'm just going to drop it off here in this little patch of grass here so we know where it is. Let's drop that in the grass and it'll be difficult to find. So we'll get our new tedder hooked up. And we can start making hay. A nice sunny day for it as well in late spring. So we'll get that switched on. And there we go. So it's only what, 3.5 metre work width. So it's only a tiny one, but it'll do for what we need at the moment. Nice to give the John Deere something else to do as well. So I really do like this tractor. I really like the old tractors in game, but sometimes I just find they're so limited to what you can do with them. You tend to not use them very often. You kind of like outgrow them rather quickly. Yeah, this should be a nice relaxing job to do for a few minutes, and get some hay made. Okay, so that's the hay all done, or the grass all tedded into hay. So we can get that switched off, get that turned on. So next job will be to get it all raked up, and then we can get it baled, and then we'll do the sowing. So drop the tether off here. I just realised as well, I put that on. I said take it off the drawbar, but the PTO didn't connect up anyway. I just literally just noticed. Been driving around that field for ages because it's quite a high pin hitch on this one, which is above the PTO. So the PTO didn't actually connect up anyway. So we had a magically propelled tether. I just have to say it was propelled by the driving along the ground. So the wheels propelled it as we was driving along. I never even noticed. So yeah, we'll go back up to the store and we'll get the rake so we can get it all raked up, baled, and then we just need to finish off with the sorghum. Okay, so back from the store with our rakes, and we can get these switched on. One thing I've noticed about these though, they don't seem to actually lower down when you turn them on. So they do work, but there's no movement in them going up and down. But as long as they do the job, I'm not going to complain, because they were nice and cheap. I really need to get our pallet forks moved out of the way. Well, there we go, there's our new rake set up. So we'll get all this raked up, we'll get it baled. So we'll leave the bales till next time, because we'll need to get a set of pallet forks, bale spikes, so we can move those out of the way. But we do need to get the sorghum drilled before we do finish up today. That's a necessity, otherwise it'll be too late to do it. And then we'll have that new field that we won't be able to do anything with until next year. So really can't afford to miss that opportunity. So we will need to head back up to the store and get a few more, or I say a few more seeds. So another bag of seeds and probably another bag of pallet of fertilizer. But yeah, I'll get all this raked up and then we can grab the baler and get it all baled up. So last tiny bit of raking to do, just a little bit there, which we probably don't really need to do, because I think our baler should more than pick up that. But we'll do it anyway. So these rakes, not the easiest things to use, but they are really nice and cheap, and nice detailed as well. They do look really nice. It's just a shame that there is no movement, because it does look like you potentially wind those handles there, which will lower those down slightly. But there's all the rotation on the drive there as from the wheels. So yeah, nice cheap rake setup, but yeah, not easy to manoeuvre around either, because it is quite wide. But yeah, nice, cheap and fun to use, and gives us another job for the John Deere. So we'll keep hold of those for a while. So yeah, probably a while before we do replace them. So they are very nice. Right, so next job is the baler, which we need to go back up to the store and collect. So we'll take the International. I'll go and grab that and get that all baled up. Okay, so last little strip of hay to do. Currently we've got 4 bales with one on the baler still, so that'll be 5. I don't think we'll get a 6th one. Not quite enough hay there. But 5 bales off that area is not too bad at all, considering they are what, 7,500 litre bales. Can't remember what the 240 hay is. 8,000 litre bales. Yeah, so that's not too bad. So it gives us the possibility now that we could potentially get a sheep pasture, get some wool production going. Or we could even do beef cows, because they really only do require hay. They are a little bit pointless giving them total mixed ration. Or even dairy cows and get milk production going with just hay until we can get some total mixed ration and increase their production, but they would get them started. With cows as well, we'd also be able to potentially get some manure and slurry if we had depending on what pasture barn we could get. But I think that might be a little bit too much of a grind at this time to get enough money to get a half decent pasture, because even some of the smaller ones on Mod Hub that I think would fit this map are still probably looking at 60, 70 plus thousand. So I think that might be a little bit too much for this time, considering we still need to get a combine as well. But yeah, there's our first hay bales here on Dark Forest. And we've got this nice little clearing now. So what we'll probably do next time is continue clearing these trees. So we'll just cut them down into this clearing and work our way around. So what we need to do now before we do finish up, and it'll be our last job for today, is to get the sorghum planted. So I'll need to I was going to say we can't really lift a pallet onto the pickup. I don't fancy buying about 50 litre bags to fill the seed drill. Put them up, load them onto the pickup. Water as well. The greenhouses are out of water, so I must remember to do that before we do finish up. So technically that'll be our last job. So yeah, we've got... What I may do is save driving all the way to the store to partially fill up. Might as well use what's in the seed drill first and then go down there empty. So we'll go and plant as much of the field as we can with the 287 litres of sorghum seed and the 506 litres of fertiliser, and then we'll unload whatever's left in there if there's a bit of fertiliser left, if the seed runs out first. That way then we can bring back as much as we can carry rather than leave more at the store. So we'll get that lowered down, and away we go with our second field and our sorghum planting. Okay, so we've almost done the sorghum, and surprisingly for me at least, we've got more than enough seed and fertiliser to do it. I wish I'd have known that last time, because I could have done it in the last episode, so it would have been done. But yeah, I really thought we was going to have to buy some more seed and fertiliser, which obviously we didn't really have the money for at the end of the last episode. But we've managed to do it without having to drive back down to the store. So I'm really glad I didn't waste my time driving to the store and buying some more seed and fertiliser to try and do this field and find out we didn't need it. Because that would have kind of sucked a bit, considering we probably won't be doing any more planting now until September, October time, when we possibly will get some winter crops into at least one of the fields, or potentially even a third field by then. So that's the sorghum all done. I say we just need to get fertiliser on those next time, so we can get the full 100%. As for equipment wise, we will need to get the little sprayer. There's also the combine and the header and a grain cart or grain trailer of some sort we're going to need to get soon as well. And I think then we've pretty much covered for all of the basic farm stuff that we need to do. Obviously we wouldn't have a planter, so we wouldn't be able to do any planting, which we wouldn't be able to do now anyway until next year. So there's a planter, a header for corn, sunflowers is not something we'd need as well this year. So there is only the sprayer, combine, grain header, possibly a header trailer, depending which header we get. We need the bale spike for the skid steer, so we can move these bales out the way. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I think we've missed. We don't have any way of making silage currently, but again, we don't need to do that. We can just do more hay if need be. So yeah, I don't think there's much else other than the combine and the header for that, and then the sprayer and a couple of trailers that we're going to need to buy this year. So before we do finish off though, we need to top up the water for the greenhouse. Actually, we're getting the John Deere if I can find it. There it is. Just otherwise I'll forget. If I don't do it now, I'll end the video and then I'll forget to do it. I have installed some of the water fill points, so we won't have to drive all the way up to the water. So we can put a little well in. There is actually, I'm not going to do it, but with this greenhouse for some reason, if I just go into build mode, if you place down one of these next to this greenhouse, it basically gives it unlimited water. So it'll set the capacity at 25,000 litres and it will never go down. I don't know why it does it. It only seems to be these particular greenhouses. I don't know if it's just some way they've been set up. So we want container, and we've got this nice well or a little fountain. I think the well would look nice, so we'll put a well in. At least we've got somewhere to get some fresh water for ourselves. And we'll drop that in there and we'll just tidy up the landscape around it a little bit. There we go. So now we should be able to just get water from there for the greenhouse and for ourselves. At least we can now resume production of lettuce. Once we get a little bit more money, I may put another greenhouse in, possibly, and do tomatoes or strawberry as well. Or maybe even, rather than do another greenhouse like that, put 2 of the foil tunnels in. Which I've got as well, which I think they're actually a little bit cheaper than that. So if we go production greenhouses, I do have these ones, but I think these are the equivalent of a small greenhouse. So production wise, these are, I think, the same as the small standard one, but this one is the same production as the large greenhouse, so it is quite big, quite long. But we could potentially, once we've cleared a few more of these trees, get a couple of these at the back, just so it's not all looking so much the same. So maybe a couple of those, do 1 strawberries, 1 tomatoes. And also I'd like to try and get at least 1 farm building next time. So we'll need to do a few more tree cutting and start saving some money then for the combine harvester. So before we do finish up, I'm going to pay some of the loan. So we've missed 2 payments, so we need to repay 10,000 for those, 5,000 for this month. So we are down to 100,000. I will also take out, I'd say 2,500. I think that's a fair penalty. So 2,500 for each missed payment. So if we go money add minus 5,000. So that's our penalty for missing the 2 loan payments. So we are down to 6,606. But yeah, we've got a lot more equipment now. We've made a lot more progress. We've got 2 fields planted with crops. And yeah, things are progressing nicely. So a big thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. And I really hope you're enjoying this series so far in time-lapse and Let's Play form. I'm going to say, if you've not watched the time-lapse and you've missed a few episodes and want to catch up in quick time, then check out my other channel, Sim Farmer, and you can catch up in time-lapse form. So yeah, big thank you again to everyone that's watched. I really hope you have enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you again. Goodbye.